Hola amigos, Ash here. Welcome back to Gents. Hope that you're well. So obviously I own a bunch of fragrances. I started collecting them decades ago, and over that span of time, I've picked up a fair plenty bottles. And believe it or not, keep this between us, but day to day, I can't actually wear thousands of fragrances. Now I might smell a lot of different fragrances during the day utilizing these little beauties, tester strips, but I can't actually wear them. Although sometimes, depending on when you catch me, I might actually have like 3 or 4 fragrances on at a time, just depending on what's going on and what I'm testing. But yeah, I don't actually have enough time, enough days in the year to wear all of them. So today I want to share with you guys some of the fragrances that I do actually wear with some regularity. With some regularity. So the stuff that I actually reach for when I have literally thousands of different fragrances to choose from. And this isn't an exhaustive list, because you're gonna notice some things missing here that I do talk about wearing frequently, and I still wear those, but I wanted to feature some of the other ones that I wear as well. So all of these are gonna be linked down in the description in case you wanna check them out. They are down below. Let's get it kicked off with this one, Pure XS. Yeah, that may not be the first fragrance that you think of somebody wearing with regularity nowadays, since it's been out for a little while, and frankly, it didn't take off in a huge way when it was released, when it was brand new. But I've always really liked Pure XS, and it's grown on me more and more as time has gone on. Also really like Pure XS Night, which unfortunately discontinued, and they've not brought out a new XS or Pure XS fragrance for a while. So for all intents and purposes, at least as of right now, this line is pretty much dead. But interestingly enough, that's actually something that I like. Yeah, a lot of times I do like to wear fragrances that are discontinued or that are a little bit more under the radar. Now I still wear a lot of super popular stuff, and you'll see some of those coming up, but I like having those fragrances in my rotation that are not worn as often. They're not as common, I guess you could say, but that still have that that versatility, that wearability, that it factor, you know, that compliment factor. And this has that. Frankly, to me, it's a little bit ahead of its time. Pure XS, it smells obviously sweet. It's a Paco Rabanne, like 99% of the stuff they put out is sweet, and this is. But you know, it's got a little bit of that, like, that current day sparkly sweet vanilla sort of scent profile. You know, a lot of different scents nowadays, a lot of different fragrances nowadays have that. And this was one of the earlier adopters of that style. So if you're wondering, well, what kind of fragrances is it kind of similar to? Well, actually another Paco Rabanne is probably the one it's closest to, which is Invictus Victory. So kind of like in that wheelhouse. And since this is not a new fragrance, the note breakdown actually has notes. Go figure. I mean, nowadays everything has 3. This one has like 30. That's an exaggeration. It doesn't actually have 30, but it does have a good amount. So it's got stuff in there like ginger, bergamot, grapefruit, liquor, kind of like this Dr. Pepper-ish vibe when you spray it on. Dr. Pepper-ish, like soda, sparkly sweet. There's also vanilla, there's cinnamon, leather, apple, sugar, woods, and myrrh. So yeah, just a lot going on here. Smells nice, very sweet and vibrant, good performance, and the price is pretty low. It's about 35 bucks at discounters. So Pure XS, this is one that I like to bust out in fall and winter time, something that smells familiar, but also a little bit its own thing, and still works really well. Easy to wear, versatile, like I said, compliment pulling. So it does everything I want, and it's cheap. Another one I've always loved is this right here, African Leather by Memo Paris. Now, strangely enough, as time has gone on, the cap has gotten, how do we put this? Worn out. It's pretty loose. I mean, you can see there, it just legitimately does not grip the bottle at all. Over time, taking the cap off, it has become useless. So it's basically just a little decoration there, essentially. African Leather though, this I have always adored. This is one of those niche fragrances where I first smelled it via a little sample spray. And I'm trying to remember exactly where I bought that. Oh, I bought a decant actually. That's right, it wasn't a sample spray, it was a decant. So I bought like 5 mil, I think, something like that. And just the first time I sprayed it on, I was like, Yeah, this is my style. It's a niche fragrance, but it firmly walks into designer territory. And by that, I mean it is made to be worn. It has what is to me one of the best cardamom notes out there, just as far as really tapping into that like warm, slightly sweet, sexy, spicy side of cardamom instead of the greener aspects. Really, really appealing. There is leather in there as the fragrance dries down, but it's not like a harsh animalic leather, which that's kind of what I expected before I smelled it, because it's African leather. You're expecting, you know, sun-scorched leather, right? But it's not. It's actually pretty easy to wear, pretty smooth. There is a decent amount of vetiver in there, so it's got like a dry, woody aspect to it as well. But it's just a really sexy, easy to wear leather scent that has maybe more of a focus on that spice, and I've always dug it. I think it smells great. And legitimately, this fragrance right here, like how much I like this fragrance, made it to where I ended up buying like 24 Nemo fragrances over the years. And none of the other ones get worn even close to as much as this one. Not that there aren't some really good ones there, because there are, but that's my jam. The next fragrance that I wear is actually really more so because of the fragrances that came before it. Not necessarily just because of this scent itself, which will make sense when I show you. It is Code Odaparfam from Armani. So I've been pretty vocal that my favorite Code was Code Absolute. Loved Code Absolute. And I really like Code Profumo that came before it. And to be fair, with Code Absolute, you could tell that it was like a retweaking of what they did with Code Profumo. So like Code Profumo did this, and then they changed things around a bit, and boom, there's Code Absolute. So you can easily draw a line from one to the other. And some people are Team Profumo, some people like myself are Team Absolute. Realistically though, I love both, but I just loved what they did with Absolute. Another one that kind of like Pure Excess, doesn't smell the same, but has that sparkle when you spray it on, you know, that effervescence to it, where you spray the fragrance and it's like it's just leaping off your skin, trying to get people's attention. Sweet, spicy, sexy, classy. It did everything. Talking about Code Absolute, good performance as well. Code Profumo a little stronger, but that's fine. But they discontinued both of those. Yeah, Absolute, Profumo, both dead. And in typical discontinued fragrance fashion, they become more expensive to get, and you end up wearing the fragrance less because you can no longer easily replenish it. So whereas at one point in time when the fragrance was readily available, maybe you wear it pretty often, but then it gets really expensive, hard to find, you wear it less and less because you don't want to run out. And then you're like, oh, I got to get another bottle and just $300, you know? So that was all really unfortunate. But then they came out with this Code Odaparfam, this new version of Code Odaparfam. Because I should say that this version in the newer bottle style does not smell the same as the original Code Odaparfam that they put out. Frankly, not that long ago, but you know, Armani has been on one lately as far as their reformulations and all this stuff. But with this new version, it smells quite similar to Code Profumo or Absolute. Right in that same wheelhouse again. Maybe not the exact same as either one of those, but it can scratch the itch. And so that's essentially why. It is bringing back something that I really, really liked in a way. This next one is a hyper versatile fragrance that you can wear pretty much anywhere, anytime, any season. But before we hop to that one, I want to share these codes with you guys. Of course, the newest codes are Maple Prime and Gift Express, and those are both fragrance discounters that have a boatload of different niche, designer, and clone fragrances. So if you're looking for any of those, check those sites out. And then of course, there's also JOMASHOP, there is Fragflex, the Perfume Box, and many more. So anytime you shop at those sites, use those codes, save yourself a little cash. Next scent is Orman Man. And really same thing here, as with the memo. I do end up purchasing fewer niche fragrances than anything else because they're expensive, but also because I want to sample them first, at least most of the time. But by doing that, I make sure that when I get them in, it's one that I really, really do like. And this is another one that I did sample first. Now, when it comes to Orman Jane, to be fair, a lot of their men's fragrances have strong similarities to each other. Guy is shown as the perfumer for pretty much every Orman Jane fragrance that I own, and you can tell that it's the same perfumer using, you know, similar style. Orman Man though, one of my go-tos, not that expensive, even at full retail, and you can find it at discounters for a pretty good price as well. It's very woodsy, kind of like a Roma chemically woodsy, but not in a negative way. Just again, kind of going with a little bit of a theme here, has this kind of like fizziness to it, you know? It's got a nice brightness to it. It's not overly sweet, it has a nice aromatic flair to it, but it's mainly built around those fresh woods. And I think in terms of versatility, classiness, ease of use, price, quality, everything else, it's just always worked really well for me. So Orman Man is one I really like to wear. I've also got a few other Orman Jane fragrances that are kind of similar in style to this one, like I was just talking about. So sometimes, even if I'm maybe in the mood for Orman Man, I might wear one of the other ones that's kind of a little similar, but has like different twists to it. So take that into account as well. Here lately, I have also been wearing a little bit of this, the new Lip Parfum. And I know that a lot of people are gonna be unhappy with this one because the original Lip Parfum basically kicked out for this. And that makes sense, yeah, because the original Lip Parfum is really, really good. And truth be told, if you had the original Lip Parfum and this one, and you said, okay, you can only keep one, the other one goes, I'd probably just stick with the original because I know that one, I really enjoy that one, and it's a nice kind of counterpart to Odaparfam, which is another fragrance that I wear. It's like the slightly more grown up, more mature brother of Odaparfam. I'm talking about the original Lip Parfum. But this new version's pretty good too. So this one is more woodsy, definitely more of a focus on like a piney woodiness, especially off my skin. It still has that Y DNA in there though, and the Y line is one that I just really enjoy. I really like the Y Eau de Toilette, Y Live. I like the Eau de Parfum, the original Lip Parfum. The only one I'm not super crazy on, and it's for the price, is Y Elixir. I think Y Elixir a bit too pricey, you know, for what you're getting. But if you could get it for a good price at a discounter, I think it's still really solid also. So the Y line in general, I really enjoy. And where this one is the newest, I've been spraying it on a little bit here lately. Also this one, Valentino Uomo Born in Roma Intense. Talked about it a bunch, but that stuff just really, really works for me. I'm sure a lot of you guys can empathize with me here. There are times where you spray a fragrance on and you catch it in the air and you're just like, this is about as good as it gets. Talking about just the way that a fragrance can be almost addictive when you smell it, right? Where you're just like, I want to smell it again. It's like food that maybe you shouldn't eat a lot of, but you just can't stop. Whether it's potato chips or mozzarella sticks or something. Everybody has their own thing, but there's some food out there where you eat it and you know it's maybe not like the greatest thing on earth for you, but you don't care. You're gonna eat until you pop. That's kind of this. Like when I smell it, I'm just like, I don't even care. It's got 3 notes, whatever. It's got a good amount of vanilla, which is like done to death nowadays. I don't care. It just smells really, 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 really good to me. Yeah, the lavender, vetiver, vanilla combo, absolutely fantastic. I wear this pretty much whenever. I mean, even if it's during summer, I'll just spray a little less. I know that for a lot of people, you know, it's like, oh, seasonality, you gotta wear it only in this time or whatever, but who cares? Just spray a little more, spray a little less, depending on where you're going, it'll work. And so, Born in Roma Intense, I wear that a good amount. Also, Coral Fantasy, really good. That one's grown on me a bunch, but man, Intense, it's good, it's good, it's good, it's good. Now one a little bit different. So this is a by Kilian, but it's not a hyped up by Kilian. It's not Angel Share. It's not Straight to Heaven. It's not Apple Brandy or anything like that. It's actually one that doesn't get a massive amount of love, and it's Cologne with a K. So Cologne Shield of Protection is technically the full name here. Nice looking bottle here. The fragrance itself is quite green. So yeah, very green, fresh, bright, leafy, aromatic, also a bit citrusy as well. So in terms of the notes, it's got a decent amount of them. It's got bitter orange, green mandarin, lime, eucalyptus, mint, petitgrain, ginger, neroli, rosemary, and also some woods as well. And really that note breakdown does a pretty good job of conveying how it's gonna come across. You know, we've got those more herbal aromatic notes, those more green, again, leafy type of notes. You got some citrus in there, bright, fresh, but not really sweet. Vaguely in the style of something like Mandarino di Amalfi from Tom Ford. So if you've never smelled this, but you have smelled that, kind of similar. If you like one, you'll probably like the other. Only drawback, the performance is not insane, but that's okay, because honestly, with this type of scent, the way it comes across, probably wouldn't want it too much heavier, because at that point, the way that those green notes hit would probably be just a bit too much for my taste. So how it is, I like it. Also really like this one, Prada Lom, the original Lom. I can still remember when that was brand new, when I reviewed that. At the time, it was a little 50-50. A lot of people didn't like it. They thought it was a pretty bad release, frankly, which makes sense in the context of when it came out. So this is a very Prada fragrance. By that, I mean it's clean, it's soapy, it's classy, right? It's a bit powdery as well, the iris in there. But when it came out, a lot of people were like, this is like a dumbed down designer take on Infusion Dome, or even Prada Amber. So those two Prada fragrances, a lot of people were like, that's way better. Prada Lom sucks. Prada Lom is like the garbage trash version of those two fragrances. But I've always really liked this one because it is more wearable. It's just easier to pull off. And I still love the other Prada fragrances as well. I own both of those others, and I think they're both extremely well done. But as far as like today, if I want that type of Prada soapy vibe, which of those three is the easiest to pull off? For me, personally, it's this one. So I respect the other two. I like them. I still wear them from time to time, but this one is the one that gets more play. So yeah, Prada Lom, really dig that. Also this one. This is Intense Red Tobacco from Mancera. Also normal red tobacco, I like a lot as well. And overall, if we're talking about which one have I worn more, the original red tobacco, which is also evident in the bottle. It's not missing a huge amount or anything, right? But the last couple times that I've wanted to wear red tobacco this past winter, I actually reached for this one instead. It's similar in a lot of ways to the original, which you would expect. It also has very good performance, which you would expect. It's a Mancera with the name Intense in the title, and it's an extrait de parfum. So you don't need too much, which is another reason there's not a huge dent. A couple sprays, 2 to 4, and I'm pretty good. But this one is a little bit smoother than the original red tobacco. Like the original, when you spray it on, it's pretty strong. It's got a lot going on, and depending on where you're going, what you're doing, some people are not gonna jive so much with that opening. It can be a little harsh, which I have Stockholm Syndrome. I've smelled that fragrance enough. I like it now. So it's okay. It has punished me enough that I'm like, you're a good guy. Intense is a little more grown up, slightly less aggressive the way that it opens, but still has that really sexy red tobacco dry down that has worked really well for me. Last but not least, a newer one, the new Coach Odaparfam. So you see they've tried to class up the presentation by giving you a small golden tag that goes over top of the pleather tag. It's quality. You can tell that it's higher quality because of that, you see. But yeah, this is a newer release. Obviously, it's a 2025. And it's one of those ones where you're probably gonna want to wait for it to hit discounters because it is a Coach, and they do get discounted quite heavily once they finally show up at your favorite discounter of choice. But this is a pretty nice one. Kind of grows on you over time. The more you smell it, the more you like it. It's not super far removed from like Sauvage Elixir, right? It's you could almost think of it like the cheap or cheaper designer alternative to Sauvage Elixir almost, which Sauvage Elixir is a designer anyway. I don't know why I had to qualify it as that, but I guess you could have like Lattafa Assad, right? As an alternative to Sauvage Elixir, so I'm just talking in circles here. Note breakdown's pretty simple on it. You've got cardamom, geranium, cedar, leather, vetiver, and a little citrus in there. Longevity's pretty good, which a lot of Coach fragrances, longevity is so-so, but this one's probably the best of the bunch for that. Projection is more normal, but that's fine. I think as far as the whole Coach lineup goes, the original is probably still the most versatile. If you're looking for just like a single fragrance to be a jack of all trades kind of scent, that the original is probably the best bet. and probably the safest of the bunch too. But this one's a really nice addition, and I've really started to want to reach for it more and more, which makes sense because you could also, going back to Sauvage Elixir, think of it as like an easier to wear version of Sauvage Elixir. It's not quite as aggressive, not quite as in your face, not as woody spicy. It still has those aspects, but it's not like, you know, aggressively masculine. Instead, this one is a little bit smoothed out. And so that can make it easier to wear. It's a really pleasant scent. So there we go, guys. Just kind of a more laid back video here today. So hopefully I didn't bore you to death with the lack of TikTokification. But these are some scents that I really enjoy wearing. I know a lot of these lean more toward like cool weather. A lot of times I do gravitate towards scents like that. But believe it or not, I do have a bunch of summertime type scents that I wear as well. Just didn't highlight as many here today. Maybe in a future video. Let me know what you guys really enjoy wearing, whatever that may be, cheap, expensive, or in the middle, who cares? Wear what you like. Thank you all for hanging with me. Stay safe out there, take care of yourselves. See you tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you guys.